Before you keep scrolling, answer this honestly. When was the last time you sat down fully, without one part of your mind still running the list? Dear friend, you know the feeling I'm describing. Not sleepy tired. The other kind. The kind that lives in your shoulders, that doesn't go away with a weekend, that's been building for longer than you've admitted out loud. You wake up already behind. You go to bed still owing something to someone. And in between, you do it all again. Because the list doesn't care how tired you are. And neither, some days, does anyone standing in front of you. Here's what I want to tell you before this letter goes any further. That exhaustion is not a sign you're failing. It is proof of exactly how much you're carrying, and carrying it well enough that almost nobody around you knows the weight exists. This letter is for the tired ones, not to comfort you into staying tired, to show you what the tiredness is actually building and how to carry it without it costing you everything else. Let's start with the truth you already know but rarely say.
You were not exhausted like this before. There was a version of you that slept in on Saturdays and called that rest. That version doesn't exist anymore. And some days you miss him, even while you wouldn't trade what replaced him. Because now your tiredness has a shape. It's the shape of a kid who needs shoes that fit, a roof that doesn't leak, a home where the fighting, if it happens quietly enough that childhood stays childhood a little longer. You took on that shape without being asked if you wanted to. Nobody sits you down and explains the terms. You just wake up one day, fully responsible for someone else's entire sense of safety. And you carry it, because the alternative is unthinkable. Nobody claps for this. There's no ceremony for the version of tired that comes from being the reason the lights stay on. You just do it, day after day, and the world calls that normal, which is another way of saying it calls it invisible. You've gotten so good at carrying it that people have stopped noticing you carrying anything at all. And the better you get at hiding the weight, the more it looks from the outside like you don't have any.
That's the trap. The stronger you get, the less credit anyone gives the strength, including you. So let's name it plainly, because naming it is the first thing that makes it lighter. You are tired because you are holding something real, not because you're weak, not because you're failing, because the weight is genuinely heavy, and you've been the one holding it, mostly alone, for longer than anyone realizes. But exhaustion, left alone too long, starts telling you a lie. And it's a convincing one, because it doesn't sound like a lie. It sounds like exhaustion just being honest. It tells you that you're falling short, that a better father wouldn't feel this depleted, that somewhere out there, other men are doing this with more patience, more energy, less resentment creeping in at the edges of an ordinary Tuesday evening. That comparison is a trap, built on a lie of visibility. You are seeing everyone else's highlight reel and comparing it to your full, unedited footage. Nobody posts the moment they snapped at their kid over something small, because the real weight had nowhere else to go that day. Every father carrying real weight has that moment. The difference isn't that some fathers never reach their limit. It's that some fathers have quietly decided the limit means they're feeling. Instead of understanding it means they're human, and still showing up anyway.
Exhaustion also lies to you about what your kids actually need. It convinces you that they need a father who never runs low, never gets short, never has a bad week. But that's not what builds a steady kid. A father who's honest about his limits and still shows up inside them teaches something a flawless performance never could. Here's the truth underneath the lie. Your children do not need you to be inexhaustible. They need you to be present, imperfect,
and still there tomorrow. Those are very different requirements, and you've been holding yourself to the wrong one. The tiredness isn't the problem. The belief that tiredness makes you less of a father, that's the actual problem. And it's the one we're going to take apart for the rest of this letter.
So let's flip this around, because there's something you've been too tired to notice. That child who doesn't say thank you for the shoes, the roof, the ordinary safety of a quiet house, he's never once had to wonder if any of it would hold. That's not an accident. That's you, every single exhausted day, being the reason uncertainty never touched him. Every time you got up anyway, on a morning your body begged you not to, you were laying down one more brick in a foundation your child will stand on for the rest of his life without ever knowing your name for what you built. That's what exhaustion like yours actually is, underneath the surface. Not a flaw, evidence. Proof that you are building something real, something load-bearing, something that costs exactly this much because it's worth exactly this much.
The tragedy isn't that it's exhausting. The tragedy is that nobody trained you to recognize the exhaustion as the receipt for something valuable, instead of a symptom of something wrong. Think about the fathers who came before you, the ones who worked land, walked long roads home, and still stood at the door every evening, tired in the same bone-deep way you are now. They didn't have language for burnout. They just called it providing, and did it anyway, generation after generation. You're part of that same line. The exhaustion you feel tonight is the same exhaustion that built every stable home that ever existed. It is old, and it is honorable, and it deserves to be carried differently than shame. So carry it as what it is, not proof you're failing, proof you're building. Let's talk about how to carry it without it costing you the very thing you're building it for.
Here is what changes the weight without changing the responsibility, because the responsibility isn't going anywhere, and pretending it will just adds another layer of exhaustion on top. First, name the weight out loud to one person once a week, minimum. Not as a complaint, as a fact. This week was heavy. That's the whole sentence. You are not asking to be rescued. You are asking to stop carrying it in total silence, because silence is what turns weight into resentment. Second, protect 15 minutes a day that belong to nothing but recovery. Not scrolling, not another task disguised as rest. 15 minutes where your nervous system is allowed to actually settle. This isn't indulgence, it's maintenance. The same way you'd never run an engine for years without ever changing the oil.
Third, lower the bar on what a good day requires. A good day is not the day nothing went wrong. A good day is the day you showed up inside your limits and didn't pretend you had none. Redefine success downward, on purpose, so it matches what a human being carrying real weight can actually deliver. Fourth, let your children see you tired sometimes, honestly, without collapsing the household around it. Dad's a little worn out tonight is not a confession of weakness. It's a lesson in what strength actually looks like. Steady, even when it's costing something.
Fifth, find one other father who's carrying something similar and check in with him the way you'd want someone to check in with you. Isolation is where exhaustion turns into despair. Company is where it just becomes weight you're allowed to set down for a minute. None of these 5 things remove the responsibility. They just stop you from carrying it entirely alone, entirely silently, entirely without maintenance. That's the difference between exhaustion that slowly breaks a man and exhaustion that a man learns to sustain for decades.
So here's what I want you to do the moment this letter ends. Tonight, before you walk through that door again, take the extra moment you usually take to compose yourself into fine. And instead, just once, let yourself feel what's actually true. This has been heavy. Not to announce it to anyone, just to stop lying to the one man who's supposed to be on your side, yourself. You are not failing because you're exhausted. You are tired because you are building something that matters, brick by invisible brick, in a house that will stand long after tonight is forgotten. Your children will not remember most of the individual days. They will remember the foundation, steady, present. There even when it cost you everything you had left. That is not a small thing. That is quite possibly the largest thing a man can build in one lifetime, and you are already building it, tonight, tired as you are. Carry the weight differently, starting now. Name it. Rest inside it. Let someone else see it, and keep walking through that door, imperfect and exhausted and entirely enough. Until the next letter, Elias.